Hey everyone, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we're going to be talking about Android and iPhone, or Google and Apple, because even if you're opting out, they are still tracking you and collecting data. And this is coming from the source GB Hackers on Security, and I found this to be really interesting. The data and information, basically, of the users of both Android and iPhone have been in question, I think, for a really long time. Now, recently, a study conducted by Douglas Leith of Trinity College has revealed that both Google and Apple transmit telemetry data even if you are explicitly opting out. Now, the amount of data that both of these companies are collecting from you essentially differs on the methods and methodology and all of that, which was accounted for in this research, and it also passes from the phone to the databases of both of these companies without us really having the ability to do anything about it. Now, to be fair, Google is collecting 20 times more data, roughly, than Apple is, but Apple is by no means innocent here. And obviously, Apple's business model of essentially selling you high-priced gadgets is a lot different than Google, which is essentially just giving you free stuff in return for data mining you. So it makes more sense that Google would be data mining you more, but when you opt out, that's the problem. Now, in this study out of Trinity College by Douglas Leith, it shows how Google is capable of receiving data from smartphones even if you haven't logged into a Google account. Apple also has access to the user's data, but obviously they're not diving as deep as Google. And in both cases, iPhone and Android users have their data collected from apps and the system itself. Now, I think the most interesting thing here is that both of them have the ability to obtain this information when your Android or iPhone is inactive. That's right. Your smartphone is constantly being monitored, even if you're not on the Wi-Fi or even a mobile data connection. That is really interesting to me. Now, in the case of Google, it is collecting around 1 megabyte or 1024 kilobytes of data from Chrome, YouTube, Google Docs, the clock, and even the messaging app as well. In in Apple's case, they are collecting somewhere between 42 to 52 kilobytes, obviously a lot less than 1024 kilobytes of data from Siri, Safari, iCloud, and so obviously that's a notable difference, but nevertheless, Apple is definitely not off the hook here either. Now, Google actually responded to this report and basically said that the data obtained by them is essential to keep the Android operating system updated and also to ensure that everything works precisely. But the point is that if you are opting out saying don't collect anything, nothing should be collected. And if they are going to have to collect things, it should be explicitly stated as to why, and then you have the ability to say, well, I'm not going to use their phone anymore. So I think this is a huge problem. You know, I will take both of them to task. I've always taken Google to task for their data policy and data privacy and data collection issues. I've also done this for Apple as well. A couple of years ago, I believe it was at the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, before the pandemic, in Las Vegas, Apple had put on billboards that said, you know, what goes on in an iPhone stays in an iPhone, and I gave them hell for that, and I will give them hell for this as well. You do not need to collect this telemetry information. That obviously is a huge, huge issue. You should be able to opt out. And if you opt out, and let's say that is going to make your phone unstable over time because Google can't data mine it for whatever reason, so be it. So be it. These are the things that we are talking about here. We are being data mined to the nth degree and we have no idea. And while Apple has made a huge show of having privacy labels or what goes on in your iPhone is staying in your iPhone, they are guilty as well. This proves it, and I think everybody needs to be aware of these things, that if you think you're safe, you're private, and you're secure, you're really not. And I think that has to change. I think we really have to have laws and mandates here in the United States, and there's being spun up all over the world, including, you know, the European Union and other countries. Obviously, the European Union is a collection of countries, you know what I mean, just everywhere. The United States also has to react to this because this can't keep going on. We should have the full right to be forgotten. We should have full rights to our devices and where our data goes or does not go. And until that happens, we have massive privacy violations that governments could possibly exploit. And we know this because of Edward Snowden. So this is a huge, huge problem. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but this is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where you are being data mined consistently, and follow me on YouTube as well, where you are being data mined consistently. And as always, stay safe and stay online, and please try to stay private as best you can. Thanks, everyone.